No, I don't know.
All right, here we go. Homework, get it out. Hey, a couple of you like completely giving up on class. You can't make me do homework no matter what I do. I can't get you to take a test. You will be getting those zeros. Remember, at this school, F's mean repeat the grade. Repeat the grade. That is always an option. Don't be that kid. Don't be that kid. Do your work. This was what, Box and Whiskers, I believe?
Yeah.
All right. Box and Whiskers, any questions? Obviously, I'm going to have to look at all your homework. I can't call out the answers to a Box and Whiskers part. Tomorrow, when I call out the answers, today's class is on analyzing Box and Whiskers. Like, we made this Box and Whiskers, what's it good for? Now we'll be able to answer some questions. But for the homework, you had to make a Box and Whiskers, so obviously I can't say, oh, the answer looks like this. Any questions? All right. Yes. Yes, that's fine. You were absent. Right. Anytime you are absent, you always get time to get it turned in. Yes? All right. So we are moving on to that's not what I need. I need this one. There was a mistake on the last box that I didn't notice until after I printed it out. So ignore the instructions on the last box until we get there, and I'll give you the real instructions. All right, calendar. They swapped the field day until next Wednesday, I've been told, although I got it secondhand knowledge. But that is what I've been told. So it won't be this Monday. Apparently, they're afraid it's going to rain. It'll probably be sunny and 85, and then it'll rain on Wednesday now. Say what? When is field day?
Wednesday.
When is field day?
Wednesday.
When is field day?
Wednesday.
That's the day it's on. When
Oh.
is field day?
Like the 12th.
It's from period 5 onward. What period are we in right now?
3.
So are you going to take your test on Wednesday?
No.
Oh my God.
Okay. If you're confused on that, then good luck in life.
Taking our test on Wednesday because we do not have, or we have testing and stuff.
All right. So we're going to do our second day. Now, granted, we had this big CMAS break between the first day and the last day, so we will do a quick review on making Box and Whiskers plots. Again, we'll do one. But the real class is on interpreting Box and Whiskers. Like somebody hands you a Box and Whiskers and they ask you questions about the Box and Whiskers. That's what today is on. We only have today's class and tomorrow's class, and then we're done with chapter 12. Because of CMAS, I was a little bit afraid you might really forget a lot of stuff. So I don't think we necessarily need 2 days, but we'll take 2 days. For those of you that can follow instructions really well, you're going to do fine on this test. For those of you that have good recall, like, yeah, I remember how to do a stem and leaf plot, Box and Whiskers, you'll do fine on this test. For those of you that have neither of those two things, you are screwed on this test. Right? If you can't follow instructions, like, yeah, I've already forgotten how to do a Box and Whiskers, but I can write the steps down and I can follow those steps, you'll be fine. But for those of you that can't do that, like you literally show up on Wednesday without a resource card and you can't remember how to do a stem and leaf plot, it's not going to come to you in the middle of the test. We'll do 2 days, as always. The test I hand you on these 2 days, next Monday, next Tuesday, will be exactly like the test you get on Wednesday, just fewer questions. Shame on you. If you sit there for 2 days in a row without a clue in your mind of how to do this stuff, and you get to Wednesday, you get an F. There's no one that should get an F on these tests. Why? Because we got 2 days of review. See, I still don't get those Box and Whiskers plots. Help me. You get on Wednesday and you can't do it, shame on you. Why aren't you asking for help? Your job as a student is to learn. When you encounter problems, you ask questions. You sit there and you do nothing, you're going to get the grade you deserve. You deserve an F because you're not doing your job. I'm afraid to ask questions. Well, I have nothing for you there. You got to get over it, right? But But if you do ask questions, trust me when I say you'll do fine on the test. Everybody makes mistakes. I made plenty of B's and C's in my life, right? But I never got to a test where I was literally like, yeah, I knew 2 weeks ago I was going to fail this test. What? You know, 2 weeks ago you're going to fail and you did nothing about it? Do something about it. I offer tutoring every single day except on Fridays. It's the third year, well, second year for you guys, but it's the third year I've taught at this school. It's never changed. I tutor every single day, except for Fridays because we have we have teacher meetings, right? But I have plenty of kids that take advantage of that. I have plenty of kids that come during student advisement. I don't get this. Kid that's got the highest grade in this class right now has come and seen me at least 10 times this year because they didn't get it. Like, I don't get this. Explain it to me. If the smartest kid can do that, why aren't you doing it? I didn't. I'm not. I might be looking at you, but I'm not claiming you're the one that isn't doing this. But there are people out there right now that have an F and have gotten an F that I've never in 3 years. Okay, I was only your teacher for 2 years. In 3 years, I've ever had a conversation with. Ever. Why?
Because they don't ask questions.
You can fix things. How many people think they're going to college? I think I'm going to college.
I'm going to
You
college.
think you're going to college. In college, professors have something called office hours.
Let's go.
An office hour is, well, it's what they call tutoring. So the professor says, my office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 2 until 4. What they're basically saying is, if you are clueless, come to my office. Let me help you. I had an A average in college, right? I got a really good grade in college. I went to office hours all the time. Even when I thought I knew it, my butt went to an office hour and I'm like, hey, do I really have it? Is this how you're going to ask the question? What's the test going to look like? What should I be studying? All my professors didn't probably, they're like, why is he coming? He's already got an A in my class. Why is he showing up? Well, because I wanted to keep an A. Paying $30,000 a year to go to something, right?
30,000?
Yeah. College is expensive.
Why?
College is a new car every year type of price.
What?
Yes.
It may be stupid, but that's how much it costs.
Why are so many people in debt?
Because they get worthless, this is my opinion, they get a worthless degree that they have no idea what they're going to do after college.
I know.
Hey, I want to be a doctor, so I'm going to go to doctor school.
For 11 years.
Hey, I don't know, they said I got to go to college, so I'm just going to go to college. That's the person that gets into debt and they can't pay it back because they have no idea, this personal opinion, right?
Wait,
I
so if
wanna
I
be
said
a
I want
doctor.
to be a doctor and I go to school, you're saying I can be a dentist?
If you want to be a doctor and you think you have the intelligence to make it through medical school, then absolutely, you can go to medical school. If you get, medical school is a big, long, tough thing.
4 years?
4 years is just, everybody goes through 4 years. That's called undergrad. So you go to, I'm not a medical expert, you go to 4 years of undergrad, then you go to and you got to be accepted into medical school. So just because you go to 4 years of college and you took underwater basket weaving for 4 years, you're not going to get accepted into medical school. But let's say you take, I don't know, there's a lot of courses that are called pre-med. In fact, you can get a degree in pre-med. You take a bunch of math and a bunch of sciences.
Is there a
And you go to that for 4 years, right? Or maybe you get a degree in biology. A lot of doctors have a biology undergrad degree. So you go 4 years for that, like University of Colorado, get a degree in biology. Then they go to the medical school, University of Denver Medical. They have a big medical school. So you go to, I'm going to get this part wrong, but it's roughly about 2 years, right? A medical school, maybe it's 4 years. It's either 2 or 4 years. And then you become what's called a resident. And then you go and you work as a practice doctor. You work underneath a real doctor for a whole bunch of years. I don't know how long residency lasts. And then eventually you get to be called a doctor.
wait, so can I be a Minecraft? Can I have a Minecraft
It
degree?
depends what kind of nurse. Some nurses are 2 years, some are 4, some could be 6.
Depending on what type of nurse you want.
That's literally what I just said. Okay. All right. Homework, copy down. We're gonna be talking, we're way off topic, but that's okay. Well, there's only 3 problems tonight for homework. They must be easy or must be challenging. We'll see. Okay,
This is easy.
you haven't even opened your book.
No, this is easy. I know it is. Look,
Okay,
I will solve this one right now.
So how many finals do we have?
How much what?
How many finals do we have?
So you guys are in 8th grade. You have 5 finals that I know for sure. It's up to your other elective teachers whether they give you a final or not. So you, of the core classes in your Latin, there will always be a final. So of 4 core classes and Latin, we always give finals. Your elective teachers, we leave it up to them to decide. So you take what, PE and then art and music, right?
Yeah.
So those 3, they get to pick whether or not they want to do, talk to them.
That would be mean.
Okay,
if
I
they
just
were
got,
to.
I
What's
just
that
wanted to ask because I figured I can do my finals the last week.
Finals are the last week that's here.
No, I'm here because I leave a week early.
Oh, you leave early.
So,
All right, here we go.
Box and a cat.
We're back to box and whiskers, even though it's really rectangle and whiskers. All right, box and whiskers. Quick review. Remember we had CMAS in between. I said there is a difference between a plot and a graph, just you don't get to see that difference until you get to high school. But we will be doing a plot today, a box and whiskers plot. And it's a visual method to compare and evaluate data sets, just like a bar graph is a visual method. Just like a line graph is, just like a stem and leaf plot is a visual. Now, plots are those methods of you take the data, they're just numbers, you somehow arrange them into a shape, you draw that shape on a graph or a plot, and then that somehow leads to some understanding about the data. The specific one that we've been concentrating on the last 2 days is a box and whiskers plot. All we did the last class was make 1 or 2 or 3. We never interpreted it. That's what we're doing today. Okay. All right. A box and whisker plot has a bunch of things on it. First and foremost, it has a box, although it's a rectangle. It's a box, and that box also has an additional line on it. Now, notice they put colors here. Well, these colors actually do mean something. You don't have to. Most of the time we make them, we just make them all black. Okay? It has whiskers, and it also has a number line. And the big important thing that I made a big deal about it is that even though the length of the whiskers are different, the length of the box is different, short, small, long, skinny, whatever. And this red line right here changes where it is inside the box, that there are actually 4 parts here, right? The 4 parts are you take your data sets, you put them in order from least to greatest, and you break it up into 4 parts. This is easy because I put 8 numbers here. I take those 8 numbers and I break them up into 4 parts. 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. We are making what are called quartiles. And what a box and whiskers does is it takes half of all the numbers, the middle half, and that's what forms your box.
Wait, I thought there's 4 quarters.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why'd you split them up? Like,
Because the box is 2 of the quartiles. The box has 2 of the quartiles. The whiskers are your quartile 1 and quartile 4. Half of all of the numbers exist inside the middle box. Now, careful what I'm saying here. I'm not saying a specific number. I'm saying half of them. If there's 8, then there's 4 numbers inside the box. Half of all the numbers are outside the box. They're broken up into 2 parts, the left whisker and the right whisker. The left whisker has a quarter of the numbers. The right whisker has a quarter plus a half is a whole. That's what a box and whisker does. The issue is this. I made my boxes exactly the same size. But because these are numbers, the spread of the numbers stretches things. Hey, there's only 2 numbers between 3 and 5, like literally number line. But there's 3 numbers between 11 and 14. There's 6 numbers between 15 and 21. This is why the shape of the whiskers, the shape of the box, stretches or compresses. But still, there's a quarter of the numbers in each whisker, and there's half of the numbers inside the box. What's up? There's 4 quartiles. So if I break a whole up into 4 parts, if I break a whole up into 4 parts, there's going to be 1/4 in each box. If I break a whole, $1, up into quarters, I'm left with 4 quarters. How do you break a whole? Well, you break it up into half. Let me finish. I take each half and I break that up into a half, and that gives me a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and a quarter. There are a quarter of all the numbers inside of each quartile. Well, that's fine. A quarter of the numbers goes in each quartile. It's like marbles. I got an unknown number of marbles in my pocket. I'm going to take a quarter of them out, and I'm going to put them in quartile 1. I'm going to take another quartile and put them between the start of the box and the median. That's your second quartile. I'm going to take another quarter out of my pocket, put it in this part right here. That's your third quartile. And the last quartile, that's the right whisker, has that. So now I'm pointing to where? Now look at the box and whiskers plot. Do you notice that the right whisker is skinny and the left whisker is long? What causes that is the actual numbers that go inside. It's still a quarter of all the numbers go inside here, but the spread of those numbers. For instance, if it goes 1 and 10, remember this goes on a number line. Well, to go from 1 to 10 is a very long distance. If the numbers right here are 11, 12, 13, they're only one number apart. That means it would squish it down. But you can't ever forget that we're talking about quarters of numbers. 1/4 of all the numbers are right here. 1/4 of all the numbers are right here. 1/4, 1/4. Yeah. Okay. Making a box and whiskers. Grab your pencils. We're going to do this one. Grab your pencils. Let's do this one. The hardest thing to do is to put the numbers from least to greatest. This is where the mistake will occur. You'll skip a number. Okay. Let's put these numbers from least to greatest. Grab your pencils. Let's go. Okay. Least to greatest. The first number is
60.
The second number is
65.
I would recommend crossing the numbers out as you write them down. Third number.
65.
Fourth number.
65.
Is it 65 or 75?
75.
Next number.
75.
Next number.
75.
I'm going to drop a comma right here. Next number.
85. 85.
How are you going to know if you didn't mess this up?
You count the
I'm going
numbers.
to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I left off a comma.
I have 11,
That's a mistake.
Then you made a mistake.
but I have all the numbers.
No, you don't.
Okay, there's 3, 6. Oh, no. Hold on. You got 3.
Just one at a time.
Oh,
Wait, so the highest number then would be 6,585.
What?
6,585.
Oh, right. Got you. Very well. Okay. So once that's done, the hard part's over. The rest is just we're following this instructions right here. Find the first median. Remember, I'm going to go back a couple slides. This picture right here is what you're actually doing when you make the stem and leaf plot. You put your numbers from least to greatest. That's the yellow right here. The very next step you do is you find the middle. What are you doing? You're breaking it up into 2 equal parts.
wait, so like.
Let me finish. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to find this white space right here, this middle. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to find these 2 tick marks. We're going to take the green and we're going to break it up into half. All right, that's our thing. What was your question?
So like numbers would go on the box.
How about we just go one step at a time? We're not there yet. I got to find the middle. Here's all the numbers. I got to find the middle. The way you find the middle is, well, you cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest, cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest. I would cross off lightly. Whatever's going on up here, it needs to stop. Turn around, take your backpack off, and pay attention. Cross off the biggest, cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest, cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest. We got a problem. What's the problem?
It's 75 to 85.
There's two of them. Well, we've handled this before. When we have two, what's the median? How do you figure it out?
Can you subtract them?
No.
No?
What do we do? Add them and divide by 2. 75 and 85 is 160. Divide that by 2 and we get 80 is right smack here. Remember the picture I just showed you, the green? We broke the green up into, or I'm sorry, the brown. We broke the brown, we found in the middle. The middle is 80, and 80 it says the label is Q2. I'm going to erase this right here. We know Q2 is 80. Now we have two parts, right? This part and this part.
Yep, and then
Now what?
you take,
We got to find the median of both of these parts.
yeah, since it's 12 altogether, and then you have 6, so they take 6, split it in half, so then it's 3.
Okay.
So what's it?
So we do the same process. One off the smallest, biggest, smallest. Oh, we left with 2 again.
So it's 70.
Now, notice I gave you nice friendly numbers. You can actually just look at it and figure out what the middle number is. All right, 70, right? Or you can add the 2 together. That gives me 140. Divide by 2, we get 70. And it says to label that Q1. Why is my pen dying? All right. We do the same thing over here. Cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out.
80, or 90.
All right, and you can kind of see that. 85 plus 95 is 180. 180 divided by 2 is 90. And we call that Q3. All right. I know I wrote that on the board, but I got e-learners, so I have to show that right here. Okay. We got to have a number line. We're on step 4. That includes the smallest and the biggest number. What are we going to go from?
55 to 110.
And go by
Tens.
tens? Okay. That'll work. Anybody else? From what to what? 60 to 105, go by 5s. That'll work. What would be a bad answer?
2 to 10.
2 to 10 would be a really bad answer, right?
Negative.
You can make it 0.
You could go 0 to 120 and go by 20s. It would work, but that's not a bad answer.
You go from 1 to 200.
Yeah, but that's still, well, that would take forever, but I'm saying that's still not a wrong answer. It's just not a great answer. A wrong answer is one that would not allow you to include the smallest and the biggest. Like if you go from 50 to 100, I can't put 105 on that. I went from 60 to 110 and I'm going by tens. I'm not saying that that's the answer. I'm just saying that's a good answer. So is 60 to 105 go by 5s. Anything that at least includes the smallest and the biggest, it doesn't have a lot of dead space. I mean, I can go from 0 to 120. It's just got a lot of dead space on one side of it. I'm just following instructions. Remember how I started today's class? If you can follow instructions, it'll be an easy test. You can't follow instructions, you're screwed. You either have to have this memorized, locked in your brain, or you got to be able to have it on a resource card and be able to follow instructions. When you make your resource card, if you're one of the, some kids are going to have this locked. I don't need to make a resource card. I know exactly what to do. But most kids are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to forget that. So the kids that are going to forget that, I'd probably want them as well. I'm going to put one entire example from start to finish on my resource card. It says, draw a box from Q1 to Q3. So what was Q1? 70. What was Q3? 90. So I'm going to go from 70 to 90. There's my box. Wait, I messed up. That box doesn't go from 70 to 90. That's interesting. No, that's an actual mistake, but I caught it. Should go from there to there.
Yeah, it should.
Why did I make that?
You made 2 mistakes. You had the comma mistake and
The comma is just an omission, but I'm sure it's because I copied from a previous slide and just didn't change it. My whiskers are your min and your max, and my median is Q2. So my Q2 is 80. Did I get that right? Let's see. There's my minimum. Yeah, I got that part right.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think I copied this from a previous one. All right, now it's correct. Online learners, you can't see what I just wrote.
Oh.
Questions? Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Tonight for homework, they're going to make you interpret box and whisker plots. So let's interpret. Now, granted, this was supposed to be from that previous data, so ignore the fact that it's wrong, and concentrate on the fact that it's a different box and whiskers plot. So we're going to do something called analyzing the box. I'm going to ask you questions about this box and whiskers plot. Okay? So remember, a box and whiskers plot always shows the data broken up into quartiles. That means all of the numbers are broken up into quarters. Between this whisker and the box are a quarter of all the numbers. Between the start of the box and the median are a quarter of the numbers. A quarter, a quarter, a quarter, a quarter. How many numbers are inside the box? How many numbers are inside the box? How many numbers are inside of a whisker?
140.
So how many numbers are inside the box? Half of all the numbers. That's the smartest thing you said.
Oh,
All right. Right. A half of, good job, of all the numbers are inside the box. Where are we getting a half from? Well, remember, there's a quarter from here to here and another quarter from here to here. That's a half of all the numbers. Whiskers are a quarter, the box is a half. Okay? So remember, a box of whiskers shows the least value. The least value is right there. Shows you the greatest value. The greatest value is the right whisker. Shows you the median. The median is that tick mark inside the box. In 7th and 8th grade, they put the tick mark in a really nice, good position. Sometimes the tick mark can be way to the extremes of the box, that almost where you can't see it. Okay, it depends on the spread of the numbers. If I do a box and whisker plot of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, guess what the min is?
1.
Guess what the max is? Guess what the box is? There's the box and whisker plot of that thing right there. It goes from 1, that's a number line. It's not much of a box and whiskers plot. So some weird things can happen. But in 7th grade, it'll give you some weird ones like that. Remember, the box shows half of all the numbers. Half of all the numbers. And remember, each part is 25%. Okay, this is all you need to answer every question tonight for homework. Like this part right here, just this knowledge. These will, all the questions will be on. Okay, so let's analyze the box and whiskers plot. Box 2. Box 3, the questions are wrong. Don't read it yet. Hey, there's a box and whiskers plot.
Wait, there's 2 box 2s.
This one is the one with the 4 questions.
The one on the side or the one on
The one with the 4. They are not the same box and whisker plot. Look at it. We're looking at the one that looks like this. All right, question number 1. Hey, if this was a box and whisker plot of a recent test that I gave to the class, what's the highest score on the test?
96.
88, 100.
102.
Where's the highest score? It's got to be right there. What was the lowest score on the test? Whatever's going on back there, stop.
38.
Oh, somebody really tanked, right? Somebody got some extra credit. Somebody just kind of breathed during the test, and that's all they really did. He probably didn't fill out the name correctly, right? Okay. So the highest test was 102%. What percent of the class scored above 72%? Where are you getting that from? Everybody?
Yes.
Ooh. If there's a quarter in each part, and the question reads, what percentage of the class scored higher than a 72? So it'd be that part of the graph. Well, if there's a quarter in each part, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. In other words, what percentage of the class scored above a 72? 75%. So did they do well on this test? 75% of the class got a what grade? Or higher. Right? The standards in our school, if you don't know that, is that 70% of all the kids in the class must score a C or higher. Or as a teacher, I got to reteach. Have I ever retaught you anything?
No, not mine.
Because I've never given a test where at least 70% haven't scored a C or higher.
I mean, there's.
It doesn't mean people don't fail, right? The issue with this, and it's counterintuitive, you see how long the whisker is? This leads you to the false impression of what? The length of this leads you to the false impression of what? That most people failed the test. Look how long that sucker is. But what it really tells you is that there's a big difference between the person that couldn't fill their name out correctly and the rest of the class. Just the range is bigger. Doesn't mean that more people fail, because how many numbers are right here? No, a quarter. So 25% of the class scored less than 72. No. Standard is
a quarter, 1/4 is
no, this
25%,
right, but the standards for our school is 70%, not 75. 70% should get a C or higher.
So it was an extra 5%, so everybody did it.
Now, you might say it came kind of close, and I would agree. And I'll just say there are times when we get kind of close, but I've never given a test in this class. A couple classes it's happened, but I've never given a test. Usually there's extenuating circumstances, like a big break or something like that.
I think that's what happened last year with their class.
I've never retaught in a math class ever, because I never give a test unless I know people are going to pass it. I mean, why do we do sometimes 2 days of review? I do that first day, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to fail. So I do a second day of review, right? All right. What's the median score of the test? Median just means what's the middle score? 98. Now that as a teacher makes me very happy. Why? Well, how many people scored higher than 88?
25%.
Half? Oh no. 1/4. Half of the class scored higher than an 88. Boy, if I ever get a box of whiskers like this, I'm pretty darn happy. Half of my class basically scored an A. I mean, it's probably as close as if the median is an 88. I mean, that's only 2 points away from an A. That's a really darn good box of whiskers quality. Okay. Half of the class scored higher. Remember, there's a quarter here and a quarter here. That's half of the people. Notice it's really small and skinny. Why? There's only 12 numbers. Well, it actually went to 102. There's 14 numbers between 88 and the highest score possible. Right? There's lots of numbers between 88 and 38, 50. That's why this side is spread way out. And for someone that can't read a box of whiskers plot, you get the impression that, wow, a whole bunch of people failed. No. What's up, Abby?
So I don't really understand the quarters.
So you know what a dollar is, right?
Yeah, but like
Take a dollar and cut it evenly into 4 parts. How many pennies are in the first part? That's literally all that's going on. The difference and why it's a little bit hard to understand is when we break something into quarters, we expect all the boxes to physically be the same size. We expect that. When you do a box and whiskers plot, because you're dealing with numbers, right? Sometimes things get stretched out. And the reason why they get stretched out is simply because, well, there's a difference between there's an equal number of numbers inside the box and what those numbers actually are. For instance, if I write 1, 2, 3, 4, how many numbers is that? So I put one box here, one box here, one box here, one box here. How many numbers are between each one? One, right? There's a range of one, there's a range of one. Like to go from one to the next is one, 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 one. So all the boxes, physically, their size are exactly the same. Now watch these numbers. 1, 5, 6, 7. Still 4 numbers. I still get 4 boxes. But how many numbers are between 1 and 5? So when you throw this on a number line, your smallest number is 1. So your whisker goes a long way to get to the next number, which is 5, 6, 7. See what I mean? So it stretches that whisker way out because the range between 1 and 5 is way bigger than the difference between 1 and 1. But you still got to remember there's an equal number of numbers, like marbles. There's an equal number of numbers here, 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 and here. But because the marbles have numbers on them and their range is different, it spreads things out. Okay. I said the last box, the questions were, I don't know how they got messed up, but they got messed up. Okay. Oh, last question. The percent of the class that scored between an 88 and a 96. So an 88 to 96, how many numbers are inside of here? 25%. So a quarter of the class got between 88 and 96. By the way, guess what that really means here? How many people got between a 96 and 102?
1%.
25%.
We already have 75 and 25.
No.
25% of the people live here. 25% of the people live here. 25% of the class is there, and 25% of the class is right there. A quarter of the people in this class not only scored an A, but they got a really big A. Okay?
They got an
Like I
A
said, if
plus
I ever
B.
had a box of whistles like this, I'd go yelling and screaming, "Look what my kids did!" Right?
Wait, you're a kid.
Well, you're my kids.
Whoa,
For another,
whoa,
what,
whoa.
3 weeks?
Oh yeah. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
wait, no, I got to teach you guys again next year.
No, you don't.
All right, that's a joke. I'm looking forward to teaching you algebra. All right, back up here, please. Back up here. All right. These questions, this is that box that's right here. Right. All right. What's the highest score on the test?
90.
What percent of the class scored that? This is where it's messed up. The questions are wrong because 72 is right here. It was supposed to say 75. What percent of the class scored 75 or higher?
50%.
50%,
Oh, wait,
right? There's a quarter here and a quarter here.
yeah, yeah.
Wait,
That's
that's
only,
75 from the
but that's only saying that. That's 4% of the.
Doesn't
75.
say that scored a 72.
Yeah.
It says scored above a 72. Now remember I said the number should say 75. There was a mistake on it should say 75.
Well, yeah.
So there's a quarter, 25% right here, and another 25% right here. That's 50%.
Oh, I thought I said that was like that exact school.
If it's at that exact score, you can't tell. I mean, like I can't, that's the only thing about a box of whiskers. Until you show me the data, I don't know how many people that actually means. I can only tell in percentages wise, but I can't tell like 46 people scored a 72.
You would figure it out.
Only if you would provide the data with it, right? What's up? What's what? I can't hear what you're saying.
The dots.
So I put this one, sometimes the box and whiskers are not done with tick marks, they're done with dots. Okay. All right. The last thing we have to do is the most challenging one. And that is, stay with me. Okay, and that's what's called a double box and whiskers plot. So, double the fun. All right. Here's the only problem with this. It's not a big deal. We're going to make 2 of them. The issue is the number line. Are you listening? For a double box and whisker plot, you have to make 1 number line. So when you look, when it says make a number, that's why this one is in red. When you make that number line, you got to look at both data sets and pick the smallest number and the largest number between both number lines. All right, so we're gonna do one. Here we go. Box 4. Grab your pencils. I got a top one. I got a bottom one. It's double the work. Double the work. Step number 1, take your top data set, least to greatest. Least to greatest, the top one. What is it? 22, 26, 28. Oh, there's 226. We already screwed it up.
27, 28.
Where do you see a 27?
You mean 37?
So it goes 22, 26, 26.
27.
There's no 27.
Right there.
That says 28.
No, right there.
That says 37.
No, on the bottom.
There are 2 different data sets. We're only doing the top one.
23.
It's called a double box and whiskers plot. You have 2 different sets of data. Because then you would only have one. We have 2. One is test 1, one is test 2. You don't combine them. We're trying to compare the 2. Okay. So the first one, once we're done, I got 22, 26, 26, 28, 30, 31, 37, 39, 42. Yes?
Yes.
We're losing our focus. We need to get back to focus. Second data set doesn't start with 22. It actually starts with 18. So I got 18, 19, 20, 23, 25, 27, 36. There's no 35. Okay. What? No, I clicked the button to turn off the light. What?
The Force Awakens.
Whoa.
All right.
So cool.
Okay. Now we gotta do each one and find the median and Q1 and Q3. So remember, define the median. One off the top, one off the bottom. One off the top, one off the bottom. We found Q2. Then we look at this part and this part and find the other 2. Now, granted, there's an even number, so it's in between. But look, the 2 middle numbers are 26. That's easy. It's 26. The 2 middle numbers are 37, 39. They're only one apart, so it'd be 38. You should have done this enough now that you're kind of, I don't know, more familiar with it. For the second data set, one off the bottom, one off the top, one off the bottom, one off the top, bottom, top, 25.
Wait.
Yeah.
Where are you getting 39 from? I don't see it up there.
Bruh, pay attention.
Oh,
Stop.
sorry.
Where's your pencil? Why haven't you done anything? Okay. Remember, to find Q1, Q3, we look at the 2 halves and we find the middle. Well, the middle is, oh, it's decimal. 19.5. It's between 19 and 20, right? So 19.5. That's Q1 for the second data set. For Q3, it's going to be 30.5. It's between 30 and 31. That's easy to do. Now comes the issue, is we need to do one number line for both data sets.
Oh.
Jaden, stop. One number line for both data sets. So what's my number line going to go from?
1 to 30.
Yeah, your number line is messed up because you can't put 42 if your number line stops at 30.
So 10 to 50.
We could go 10 to 50, go by tens.
Wait,
Right.
do 20. Oh,
If we do 20, we can't fit an 18.
so we're out in our mind.
I said that.
Oh, okay.
I said one number line for both data sets.
10 to 45.
We could do 10 to 45, go by fives.
5 to
We
59.
can go 5 to 59, go by 1.6.
No, let's just do 10.
Why would you do that?
Why not?
Just do 15 to 45.
15 to 45, go by fives, that'll work, right? Huh?
That's a 2.
I went from 15 to 45, I'm going by fives. Now, be careful. Listen up, please. We got to do a double box and whiskers plot. A double box and whiskers plot. Okay? So to do a double box and whiskers plot, you have to decide which one you want to put on the bottom, which one and it doesn't make a difference. You with me? Okay. I'm going to go bottom and top, bottom and top. Okay. I'm going to choose, put the green one, not because it's better. I'm just choosing that one. So green one on the bottom, the other one on the top. So on the green one, that's the top. That's where it gets slightly confusing because we got a whole bunch of numbers all over the page. We're going from what? 26 all the way up to 38. Notice if I go by fives on my number line, I got to take a little bit of estimation there of where those numbers exist. Yes? Questions? My two whiskers are 22 and 42. 22 and 42. My median was what, 30? Okay. The other one's going to go on top of it. Now, I'll go back to the original thing is which one does it make more sense go on top and the bottom? It doesn't. You get to pick, right? I guess if you really were trying to emphasize one, I don't know. I'm not, you could put one on the top, one on the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right?
looking at.
You could do that as well too. I've never seen one done that way. They'll have the number line and either they'll both be on the bottom or both be on the top. But you could do top and bottom. I don't see mathematically any reason why you couldn't. All right, the second data set. My colors don't match. Look at that. My second data set, we're going from 19.5 to 31.5.
That was scary.
Why would that be
You have
scary?
no idea.
You have no-
I had to
So
sleep
the
my
whole other
mask
time,
on.
and he just turns around like, he goes like.
All right,
I had to put my light up.
back up here now. Everyone look at the two data sets. Let's just say, now granted, I didn't give a test that went to 100. I gave a test that went up to 45. Which class scored better? Green or yellow?
Green.
Why green?
Because they're closer to 45.
Okay, well, green has the highest score, and the box of the green is to the right of the box of the, whatever that color is. Right? Orange? Okay. But I will say the green box is larger. That means there's more spread of half of the class for their data sets. Okay? There's more spread for half of the data sets. Tonight for homework, they're going to make you do, who's doing their homework right now? You're going to have to do at least one, I don't know if it's two. Look at your, who's got your book open? Look at your homework.
If there's 3 problems, this is easy homework.
I just gave you 7, 8, 9, 3 problems. Did I give you 1 or 2 double ones? Page 460, 7, 8, 9.
You gave us 3.
I gave you 3 of them. Enjoy. I guess that explains why we only had 3 for homework, right? All right. Homework. The box is in the back of the classroom and
Get me the other one. Give me the other one. I stopped I didn't.
all right, make sure your homework makes it to the box before you depart. Get out of here.
Wait, can I grab a water bottle?
Those are not mine.
Yesterday's homework,
Thank
but
you.
I left.
I was wondering, I was like, was she even here in class? And I was
I
like,
was in first period and then I got sick, so I left.
all right now? What are we making back there besides a mess?
Oh, that's what me and Preston did yesterday.